going to be, not I'd like to be. And so if you're looking for good reporting here, good journalism, this is the type of person I am. So it's nice. It's got to be a good feeling.
It is.
Do you see yourself climbing up the corporate ladder? I mean, have you ever thought about making a move to a bigger, like a Gannett paper or something down the city, you know, the Daily News, New York Post? Is that still something that, you know, is, if you got the call tomorrow, do you run?
Domenic, this is something that people actually ask me a lot, and I'm just so focused on the task at hand. You know, the North County News is a great paper, and I'm so entrenched in it, and I love it that that's where my heart is right now, and I you know, let tomorrow take care of tomorrow. I'll focus on today.
If the phone call comes, though, it's something to think about.
Right,
You'll contemplate it at
exactly.
that time.
But for right now, I'm happy where I am.
What is what I wrote it down here says, what does it take to get the paper to press, deadlines and publication? And specifically, like, what is your, how many papers does the North County News put out? I mean, is it, you know, is it hundreds? Is it the thousands? I mean, I'm sure throughout the localities, you know, do you have those numbers more or less in a roundabout way?
Our circulation is, I think, between 6 and 9 at this point. 1,000.
6 and 9,000 per week.
Per week.
Wow.
So it's
so it's a massive effort.
It is a massive effort. It is, and like I said, it's a lot of fun and it's a lot of work. It's pretty. The cycle can be killer sometimes, but
I could imagine. The one question I have for you, and this I just noticed because, like I said, I met you from almost literally the day. I mean, within, I don't know if I'll say it, a day, a week that you arrived here on the scene.
Pretty close.
And you know, and I do. What do you call it? I subscribe to the paper, so I'm always reading it. And I've noticed your editorials have had much more content of late. And what I'm going to ask is why, and I'll preface it by saying, is it because you are growing up in the environments and you're starting to get acclimated to the players on the street? You know if someone's duping you, if someone's you know, playing a game with you, if they're being serious. Are you starting to feel more comfortable? So therefore, you can take, if you feel there's a pressing issue and you really have a statement you'd like to make, you're starting to get comfortable. Is that? Would you say yes or no?
Yes, definitely. I mean, you know, I think anybody takes a little bit of time to settle into a job. Sure. And definitely that's occurred here. Now that I've been here a year, and as you said, gotten to know the players. I also we have more people on staff now, so that also helps too, because.
Does that alleviate, you mean, the burden that you were, you know, like when you first came on?
Sure.
So it allows you more latitude to do things,
exactly,
what you should have been doing in a sense, or I see.
Well. I'd like to say I've always done what I should have been doing, but
no, meaning doing maybe having to wear 3-4 hats instead of just the one hat as managing.
It definitely helps. You know, my staff right now is just.
Were you understaffed at the beginning, like when you first came on, or is it?
I would never use the term understaffed, Domenic. Okay. But when I came on, we had 3 news reporters and 2 sports reporters, and then Isaac got promoted to sports editor. A couple months later, we hired an assistant editor. We now have 4 news reporters. So it's definitely it's been a bit different. So what that does is it allows us to have better coverage of our communities, and better coverage of the community means that we know better what's going on in our communities. Right. Knowing what's going on means that we can write stronger editorials.
Gotcha.
So it all feeds together.
There's not that blind side to, let's say, one area that you just maybe didn't have a clue what was going on.
When you're on the new kid on the block, you don't want to open your mouth real big and stick your foot in it. So, you know, I tried to be a little bit careful in the beginning, but now that I've been around a little bit longer, I you know, feel a little more comfortable in my shoes. Sure.
Well, that's okay. You know, it's a maturation process, and naturally you're getting stronger. So I'm waiting to see, you know, like I'm sure there are times maybe where your political commentary there with Andy Bazzo, I'm sure you must say to yourself, oh my God, we can't print this. You know, I mean, the next thing I thought he was going to do in one of those articles or issues, it was when he was going to go after maybe the handicap and how they no longer have the right to, you know, park in the handicap places in front of stores, you know?
Yes, he tries to take his shots at everybody. And he
doesn't
discriminate. I mean, that's the nice thing about him. He really takes a shot at everybody.
And that's the great thing about him, is that he leaves no stone unturned, so no one can say he's being partisan in any fashion or manner.
No,
he attacks everything.
That's very true.
You know,
that's very true.
Is there a side of you that would like to do that?
Not in the way that he does it. I mean, because you know, when I'm writing editorials for the North County News, we could take it very seriously. Not that Andy doesn't, but because it's representing the opinion of the newspaper,
of the ownership,
exactly,
and also your editor, and everybody else connected really with
exactly. We take it seriously, and we weigh each of our words carefully.
Right.
So
Andy is allowed the latitude because it is a political.
It's a political column.
Column, and there may not.
It's signed. It's different. People often ask me, why don't we sign our editorials? And I always find that very confusing question, because New York Times doesn't sign their editorials, the Daily News, the Journal. Nobody signs their house editorials. So I always think that's odd, but you know, since it represents the opinion of the editorial board.
I was just going to say, is it? Do you and Bruce, do you both do a column in every issue, or is it just sometimes you do one or he does one, or sometimes you could do both? You know, each one
he has his column on the bottom of the editorial page that he writes each issue.
Every issue he has one.
Occasionally we'll have if there's something I'd like to write about that I'd like to sign myself, I'll put something in there. Or someone else will on the staff.
So
but generally, it's his spot to say what he wants to say.
So it's not a necessity, or it's contingent upon you producing one every paper. It's if you feel the urge, you do it.
Oh no, we need an editorial every paper.
Oh.
So that's.
No. Yeah. If you want to go right ahead.
No, but
yes.
On the editorial page, it's the top of the top editorial that's unsigned. That's is the one that I usually write. Occasionally, my assistant Bob will help out also. But
oh, I see. Yeah.
So.
Okay. All right. Right there.
Right. So this is the editorial that that I'm generally responsible for writing, and then Bruce has his column on the bottom. So and his columns are more playful, and he likes to talk about different things he does in the community, different events he visits, and sometimes what's bugging him that week. So
he puts it out there.
He puts it out there, exactly.
Okay. So every week there will be one. Yours is at the top, and then his is at the bottom,
right.
pretty much.
But but I mean, certainly I talk about the editorials, with Bruce, with Bob, with it's our editorial board, and with others, so that it's representative of the opinion of the group.
Do you bounce around if you present one? Do you bounce it around with your staff or with Bruce on every occasion, or there's some where you say, no, you know what, this is one, I'm doing it myself, and that's it?
Well, I think writing is always a collaborative process, or it should be always a collaborative process. Just the same way that a reporter, will write a story and it'll go through, a couple editors before it gets to page. It's the same thing with our editorials. We want to make sure that we suss out different arguments, and what do you think about this? Is it fair to say this? Is it not fair?
Right.
Like I said, it's a serious responsibility. So
sure. You want to make sure that you bounce the issues and the items around to make sure that we're doing the right thing here. We don't want to make one wrong move and it could hurt us in the end, and maybe we lose credibility also within the public itself too, to a degree.
True. I mean, if there was ever anything that we wrote that we truly regretted, you can always next time around say, you know what, we were wrong. And I think that's a really important thing to be able to do, is to admit when you're wrong.
When you're wrong.
And certainly you should do it in the newspaper as much as you should do it anywhere else in life.
Well, Kathleen, you've been clearly one of our most stunning guests. There's no doubt about that.
Goodness, thank you, Domenic.
We thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me on.
Okay. We'd like to thank you once again for tuning in to the Volpe Report. I'm Domenic Volpe, your guest. We have tonight with us once again Kathleen Fitzpatrick, the managing editor of the North County News. You can view us on, Thursday nights in the Peekskill, Cortland area, on at 8:30 on Channel 15, public access, and in the Yorktown section, also in Putnam Valley, on Wednesday nights at 6 o'clock, also Channel 74. Thank you very much. Tune in again. From sea to shining sea, from Detroit down to Houston.